A single strand of hair, no DNA, no fingerprints. Yet for decades it helped send people to prison, and even death row. In 2015, the truth came out, and one of forensic science's most trusted tools collapsed overnight. For much of the 20th century, microscopic hair comparison was treated as powerful evidence. When hair was found at a crime scene, FBI analysts examined it under microscopes. They compared color, thickness, texture, scale patterns. The jurors were told these comparisons could link a suspect to a crime. Sometimes hair evidence was the strongest proof presented, but there was a problem. The science behind it was never as strong as it sounded. Microscopic hair comparison relies on visual judgment. There are no standard error rates, no statistical probabilities, no way to prove a hair came from one specific person. At best, analysts could say a hair was consistent with a suspect. But in court, that nuance was often lost. Testimony frequently implied certainty, even uniqueness, and juries believed it. In the early 2000s, DNA testing became more precise and widely available. Old cases were re-examined, and something alarming happened. Hair evidence that once secured convictions didn't match the defendant's DNA. In case after case, the hair matches were wrong. Defense lawyers and scientists started asking hard questions. By 2012, pressure mounted on the FBI and the U.S. Department of Justice. They launched a historic review of past cases involving FBI hair analysis. Independent groups joined the effort, including the Innocence Project. The goal was simple and unsettling. Find out how often expert testimony went beyond what science could support. In April 2015, the findings were made public. The results were staggering. Of 28 FBI examiners reviewed, 26 overstated their conclusions in court. In 268 cases where hair evidence helped secure convictions, more than 95% contained misleading testimony. These weren't minor errors, they shaped verdicts. The review uncovered nearly 3,000 cases involving FBI hair analysis. In at least 35 cases, defendants were sentenced to death. 9 had already been executed. Others died in prison before the errors were acknowledged. The impact wasn't theoretical, it was permanent. For decades, courts trusted hair analysis because it came from the FBI. The authority carried enormous weight. But the method lacked validated scientific foundations, clear reporting standards, limits on how conclusions were expressed. Analysts often used language suggesting certainty the science did not allow. Not because of fraud, but because the system allowed it. After the revelations, the FBI and Justice Department acknowledged the errors. They pledged to notify affected defendants, cooperate with courts and prosecutors, improve forensic testimony standards. They also emphasized that there was no evidence of intentional misconduct, but acknowledgement couldn't undo decades of damage. The scandal didn't stop at federal cases. Many state crime labs had adopted FBI methods. That meant similar testimony may have influenced trials nationwide. States began reopening cases, convictions were questioned. DNA testing became a lifeline for those still incarcerated. The FBI hair analysis scandal changed forensic science forever. It exposed a dangerous truth. Evidence can sound scientific without being reliable. Today, courts are more cautious, but thousands of lives were already affected. The question now is simple but unsettling. How many convictions still rest on evidence we no longer trust? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories where science, justice, and truth collide.